Once again, good afternoon from the Swiss Tech Convention Center in Lausanne. And thank you all for joining our first webinar, Delivering a Successful and Safe Event During COVID-19. I'm Belinda Haas, Head of Marketing and Sustainability here at the Swiss Tech, and I'll be moderating this session today. As you can see on your screen, there's a Q&A button at the bottom of it, where you can submit your questions at any time, and we will get back to them at the end of the session. So first, I would like to start with thanking our speakers today. So from IMK, on behalf of the Swiss Society of Ophthalmology, Astrid Dietschi, Head of Congress Management, joining us from Bern. From Lausanne Montreux Congress, Gerald Howard, Senior Business Development Manager. And from our team here at the Swiss Tech Convention Center, now Felgelassi, Head of Audiovisual and New Technologies, Julian Jammers, Managing Director, Geneviève Koch, Senior Event Manager, and Christophe Levrat, Head of Client Experience. So without further ado, Julian, your opening remarks, please.
Thank you, Belinda. So welcome and thank you for joining us today. As Belinda said, we are live from the Swiss Tech Convention Center here on the EPFL, one of two of the Federal Institutes of Technology in Switzerland, and often referred to as the MIT of Europe. We're going to share with you how the power of collaboration allowed us to deliver the first on-site Congress here at the Swiss Tech Convention Center since the lockdown of March of this year. But to preface our discussion today, while small steps have been made towards meeting live again, albeit on a smaller and certainly a national scale, today most countries are once again in some sort of a lockdown, a new lockdown. The rules for meeting live are a little bit like a water faucet. You turn it on, you adjust the temperature and flow. When it gets too hot, you turn it off. So while what we'll share with you today is how we were able to host a relatively large live event coming out of the lockdown, the learning still will remain relevant once that faucet is turned on again, and we will be ready to manage that on-site experience. So health and safety have always been a given in the planning and running of a successful event. But today, we need to demonstrate that this is top of mind, not only to the authorities, but also to you, our clients, and further to your own clients. We all need to be reassured, and we believe we can help to do that by opening our doors and appropriately managing the flow of people in a safe and secure way. Other than the obvious need and desire to actually meet each other face-to-face again, organized events are important to relaunch our economy and our businesses. So thank you to all of those who helped make this happen. Thank you to the speakers for today's webinar. And I'm going to let Christophe now take you through the highlights and speak to you again in about 30 minutes.
Thank you, Julian. Hi, everyone. And without further delay, I propose to you to discover some images of this Congress we hosted at the end of August through a quick video.
Very good, very relevant to share with them a little bit about the surrounding, the neighboring region that we have here. And that's why we invited Gerald Howard to come and join us and tell us a little bit about this health valley that surrounds us.
Well, I'll try to do my best.
Wonderful.
No, it's really nice that we're talking about technology. You need to know that the region is really known regarding research and institutions related to technologies and innovation. So just to summarize a bit, I just want to make you understand that in the region, everything is related to health. And there are three main pillars that are nutrition, sports, and life science. And I think nowadays technology and health is really something that we need to take care of regarding the situation we're all living. For me to make you better understand this situation is that the Global Innovation Index, which is a collaboration of 3 main institutions, and you can read it through the slide that is international, has rated Switzerland as a world leader of innovation, and it's been awarding the top position since 2011. So that means we're not joking about it. I mean, we are a region for technology and innovation. It's been a long year for this. And you can see that on the 6 indicators, it says open, excellence, and attractive research systems. So they're really working hard to, for the event and for the industries to have the best of the technology innovation. And so that's why we're saying we are a leader in health, because we have the valley called the Health Valley. For you to understand, regarding, compared to Europe, we have 122 patents per million inhabitants in Europe. If you check it with Switzerland, it's 893 patents per million inhabitants in the Canton de Vaud, which is a small region compared to Europe. So just for you to see that, we have more than 1,000 companies in biotech, medtech, and healthcare, and those companies generated more than 5.1 billion Swiss francs. So you can see that the return on investment for the companies, but also for the clients, for the associations, for the federations that are working on events and looking for sponsor support, financial support, it's the best way for them to be here, because they're going to be able to use those companies that are working in technology. I didn't talk about also those 150 startups that are settled in the innovation park at the OPFL, because OPFL is really known. It's working really hard into anything related to engineering, but also digital. And lately, there's been the inauguration also of the valley, the startup valley in cybersecurity. Sorry for this, cybersecurity. Show you on the map. You can see the lake, you can see down Geneva on the left corner, you can see Lausanne, which is in the middle of the map with all those yellow dots and red dots. That expresses all those companies that are settled around Lausanne in the region. That expresses also the strong network you can use for your event, and also for you, the industry, to participate in your event. And you know that Switzerland is in the middle of Europe. I mean, it's the heart of Europe. And the Canton de Vaud is a perfect getaway for Europe and the world. You arrive at the airport in Geneva, you take the train, you arrive in Lausanne, and you're there. You're settled. It's perfect. Just I want to share with you a few of the European headquarters that are settled around. You can see some of the names are really known. Eaton, Edwards, Imitix, Logitech, Kudelski, BD, Belcom, Intuitive. So you can see there are big names there. And I want to finalize, I would say, my expression on and sharing my knowledge on that, on the networking and also on innovation, technology, and health. EPFL, SCHUV, IMD, EHL are 4 main institutions here in Lausanne. And you can see that they're well known worldwide. I mean, you can see EPFL has been always into the top 20s. SCHUV has been ranked 9th in Newsweek for the top hospital world ranking. IMD has been ranked 1st in management for at least 9 years. And EHL, who doesn't know about EHL? There's been best hospitality and hotels management school in the world for a few years now. All those together are sharing ideas. They're working together. They're strengthening the network on purpose to work on biotechnology and health. And this, what has been done with the SPE, which is the economical promotion department of Canton de Vaud. They've been working into networking. They've been creating the Biopole, which is a sort of cross-fertilization of knowledge and research. They have more than 1,500 people working for them. And this Biopole are working with all those different institutions. And they've been developing networks. So I can show you networks on nutrition, E4S, resilient environmental responsibility, Unisanté, that managed to have an alliance of main health establishment in the private, public, and civilian organizations. They're working together for health priorities, developing all technology on this. IDREC, the Agora Cancer Oncology Center, which is really known. They have the support of the Ludwig Cancer Research Center that gives them more than $1 billion for the research on cancer, and they're known for this. And finally, I just want to share also on something that is really strong in the region. You have the Lemanec Neuroscience, the Center for Research in Neuroscience, and you have also the HBP, which is a combined effort of different institutions in neurology, neuropsychology, neurorehabilitation. Now you can see more than 500 scientists, more than 100 universities working it. So imagine the strong network you can have in working with them. There,
Wonderful.
I did it. Huh?
Wow. You did it, and it's unbelievable. And I have to say, we've been so Swiss today because it's 4:48. Thank you so much to all the speakers for keeping the time. No, wonderful, wonderful, Gerald. Thank you so much. Great ecosystem that we have here in Lausanne and the region. So yes, we have managed to be on time, on track, and now it's time for a Q&A. So we'll have the next 10 minutes. I'll look at the 6 questions that we have here on the screen. Actually, I can see now another 2 coming. Okay, wonderful. I will start with, Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. Thank you for joining today. So you're asking, what is the current number of participants you can have for live events? So today, Canton de Vaud, we can have up to 1,000 participants, but as I mentioned earlier, tomorrow there will be an announcement by the Federal Council, so that may change things, and we will make sure to inform you and update our website with that information. The second question that I see here, and Geneviève, I see it's probably, yes, for you, please. The delegates have the opportunity to attend the Congress virtually. Did you set up a virtual platform for digital consumption of the content? So I believe I will let you.
Yes, I don't know if it's me or Naufel actually, but it depends. In this Congress, we didn't. We wanted to, we were ready, we had everything, but the customer decided no.
Okay.
They wanted to do everything physical, but it's of course it's possible.
Maybe I could answer that question.
Yes,
please. Astrid, you're there. Thank you.
Yes. I just answered some questions also. Let me just, sorry.
Oh, you did. I can see that. Thank you so much. You answered directly on the Q&A.
I can answer that question. We, as Geneviève said, we would have been ready. Well, the Congress Center would have been ready, but it was because it was such a short time, we did not have the allowance of all the speakers, and we did not do it virtually. But we had now afterwards, we had the presentations. We have them now on the society homepage. And it's also, of course, they have to log in with a password. So it's not as easy as it seems, even though technically it would have been manageable, but we didn't do it. We also didn't do it. The thought behind it was that the persons, we wanted to have as many persons as possible on site because also of the industry. Because if we would have offered both, then the industry would have not been too happy, as many people would have maybe decided not to come on site. So there's a lot of thoughts and discussions behind that. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Astrid. Then I see another question here coming. Did you anticipate and prepare for the backup plan in case you had to cancel the in-person event?
Me again?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. For every event, we do 2-3 scenarios. If we are 1,000, if we are 300, if we are 100, and if we are only the speakers like we are today, not more than 15 people. Yes, for every event, we are ready. We have the plan B, C, D. Yes, we do.
Wonderful. Thank you. And we had received actually 2 questions over email. Christoph, someone was interested in to know our perspective, our opinion on how will COVID-19 change the future of events, virtual hybrid events, the mix?
Yeah, and luckily we have a crystal ball. So through the crystal ball, we saw that it seems that we have a consensus emerging on the recovery, progressive recovery, I will say, between Q2 and Q3 next year for the European market, international market, I will say, depending on the travel bans and so on. But for the national and local events, that never ended. In fact, we had events from June to today. In fact, we're still running events today, and but it will depend, and the adaptation, well, is crucial, as we said, many of us today, regarding the number of people, the anticipation we have to work on, and on that part, we always adapt ourselves and to the rules of the authorities. And certainly, hybrid is a new format, not new format, but it will be the normal way of doing it within the next years. And of course, it will continue depending on the travel restriction or personal willingness to reduce one's carbon footprint, for instance. And that will affect the number of attendees. But that's also an opportunity to reach new attendees and new people and new targets, young people, students who may not have the chance to have the dedicated budget to attend a congress. And that's a new possibility that we work with associations, with other clients, to extend the attendees, but which is really very interesting and very, very crucial as well. It's that the scripting and transition will make the difference. When you prepare your event, you have to anticipate a lot on these points, because as you see behind your screen right now, it's important to manage that clearly and not to have one people speaking during 55 minutes. Otherwise, you will, and you all experience that the last months, that you sleep after 25 minutes or maybe 10 minutes, depending on who's speaking. And you have to make the differentiation between the viewers and the attendees. It's completely different. The way we have to manage that and to work closely with our clients on that point as well. So we have to keep the interactivity, or to make more interactivity in these kind of virtual or hybrid sessions, and to keep the audience attentive, of course.
Great, thank you, Christophe. And actually, I'm looking here, there are a couple of questions related to costs. And actually, how do these events compare? You know, what are the are there additional costs?
Normally not, I will say. Well, on average, since we started a few years ago already with the hybrid sessions, the cost is more or less the same. There's no additional cost. What you have more is, of course, AV technology, of course, people behind the screens. And thanks to all the guys over there for running that for us. That's really important, and that costs a bit more. But on the other hand, you have less other elements, catering, for instance. You have less catering, you have less travel and accommodation for your speakers, for part of them. So the budget is slightly the same. So there are another couple of pretty specific questions online. So I propose that for the sake of time, we're going to get back to you we're going to respond to all of these questions. Please leave your email addresses next to in the Q&A section so that we can get back to you if you can. Let's bring this to a close, perhaps, Julian, with the very last question on how can we reassure participants? How can we get them to come or join either in person or virtually? What should we be doing?
Well, it goes back, I think, a little bit to the crystal ball that Christophe was talking about. I mean, clearly, that's important. I think that demonstrating that you are in contact with the right people. First of all, even convincing the client, the organizer themselves. And if we can reassure them and demonstrate that we know what we're doing because we have the right kind of expertise, then it's much easier, I think, then to get that to go on to the participants. It is a leap of faith to some extent. There's no doubt about that. There's a great deal of personal responsibility that has to take a role as well, as we all take the right measures for ourselves individually. But it's clear that, as I said at the very beginning, events, congresses, gatherings, people together. That is who we are. We're not robots, as I've said many times. We need to come together. We need to be able to speak to each other than just across a screen like today. And we just need to continue to demonstrate that, through the events that we are doing, that it is possible, because it is possible.
Wonderful. Thank you, Julianne. And with this, we can now close this webinar. It brings this to an end. Thank you all for joining. If you have any further questions or comments, please, you can join us anytime. Communication at stcc.ch. And now we're going to show you the very last question, and it's how you like this webinar. So thank you very much for joining, and goodbye, everyone. Stay safe.